in terms of my favorite match, the match I enjoyed the most on the night, this one was it. And the Young Bucks kept the titles, I think, as most would have expected. I don't know if they have any sort of longer-term plans for them with feuds, but they'll keep the tag titles for a little bit longer here in Ring of Honor.
And it looks like War Machine are now free agents, according to your buddy Meltzer.
Yes, they are.
So, I don't know. I mean, I could definitely see those guys going to NXT. War Machine versus the Authors of Pain. I mean, that kind of writes itself.
Yep. I think that was rumored at one point. As far as
really?
And then going to NXT, sure, yeah.
I didn't know that.
It was rumored. I don't know. All the stuff with the Ring of Honor talents going to NXT have all been... it's been weird, the whole thing, right? I mean,
it's so
thought
strange.
O'Reilly would go right there, and he hasn't shown up yet. But yet
didn't think Fish would go, you know.
Right, and now Fish is there, and Cole has been out for like a month or so, or a month or two, and he hasn't shown up yet. And so it's just interesting. I don't know how all this stuff works out with contracts.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think it's a contract issue? It's a money issue? What like?
There was some issue where WWE was kind of tapping into talent with the Ring of Honor maybe before their contracts were up, I heard. And the Ring of Honor kind of caught wind of that and called them out on it. Because obviously you can't really be negotiating with somebody while they're under contract somewhere else.
Right.
So
that's actually highly illegal. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they must have had like WWE probably officials were sniffing around with different guys to gauge interest or whatever it might have been. I don't know the specifics behind it, but I think Ring of Honor caught wind of that, and I don't know what they did, whether it was threatened a lawsuit or something along those lines, and it caused WWE to back off of a lot of these guys. So instead of seeing somebody from Ring of Honor like one day and then going into NXT like a week later after their contract ran out, now there seems to be a gap that's happening with everybody. Even Fish, to an extent, even though he has shown up on NXT, his full-time contract, I think, ran out in February or March. So he's been working just spot deals with Ring of Honor and other independent companies since then, so he's allowed to go. And I assume that O'Reilly is allowed to do the same thing by this point, because he hasn't wrestled in Ring of Honor since January.
Right, and he worked in Evolve, and then him and Bobby Fish worked at House of Glory. Bobby Fish was at NYWC, so
Fish is. O'Reilly's been all over the place, right? Different independent federations.
Yeah,
as is Fish,
Red Dragon wrestled the Wrestle Circus in Texas against.
So I don't know what the plan is with bringing those guys in. I would think maybe hopefully they have something in mind for O'Reilly, but that's.
Listen, I'm cutting a promo here. It's blatantly obvious Red Dragon is my favorite tag team. I'm not apologizing for that. You're bringing in Bobby Fish. You got to do the right thing. You got to bring in Kyle O'Reilly, and you have to reform Red Dragon for the love of God, okay? Because singularly, these guys are fantastic, and I love watching them both. As a tag team, I think they're the best in the world today. Do the right thing for the love of God. You remember the Hurley Boy skit on SNL? When it's like, let him sleep in your room for the love of God. That's how I feel. Bring him in, sign Kyle, bring in Bob, let them do their thing, and for God's sakes, let's chase the dragon in NXT, huh? Son of a...
So the main event of Best in the World was Cody Rhodes against Christopher Daniels. Christopher Daniels is the Ring of Honor World Champion. Cody Rhodes challenging for the title in a one-on-one match. I talked last week about how I was not in favor of that. It has nothing to do. I have nothing against Cody Rhodes. I just did not think.
I don't know. You said some really derogatory stuff about him.
That wasn't me.
You said his mustache wasn't as nice as he thought it was?
He doesn't have a mustache.
You don't remember his mustache?
I remember his mustache.
It was glorious.
He doesn't have a mustache currently.
No, but you talked about his previous mustache.
I did not.
Listen. You've been on a mustache knocking.
Are you sure it wasn't Sunny? Because I know you confused us earlier.
Let me check.
Check that out.
Well, that is a graphic GIF. How do you?
Anyway,
how do you get so close to the
camera? Of course, with Cody Rhodes having lost several matches leading into this match and not being built up very strongly as a title contender, he's now the new Ring of Honor World Champion. So there you have it, folks. It is what it is. I don't want to get into, like you said, the tapings the next night.
I want to tell you know what? We don't want to be spoilers.
Yeah, we don't want to be spoilers.
I want to talk about.
But Cody Rhodes is the new Ring of Honor champion. So it's not like Daniels was lighting the world on fire with his title reign. It was kind of more of a, they gave him the championship due to all the years he's had in the business and things he did for Ring of Honor earlier in his career when Ring of Honor was just kind of in its infancy. So I have no problem with him being champion for a little while, but it's not a guy I think that should be carrying the company for an extended period of time. So he held the championship for about 3 months. Cody Rhodes is now the new champion of Ring of Honor, and I don't know what his next feud is going to be. We'll see if they do anything with. Well, they're gonna have to do something eventually, obviously, but I don't know what it'll be. So we'll have to see how it all goes down. But now Cody Rhodes and Bullet Club have the Ring of Honor World Championship.
I thought it was a good match too. What did you think of the match itself?
It was good. I mean, most of the matches were. I mean, most of the Rhodes matches, it seems like, are always very good. They're good, but they're never like over the top.
As you would say, they don't set the world on fire, but they're always at least consistent. Right. So, quick grade. What do you give Best in the World?
B.
I go B. Yep, because there was nothing outwardly bad.
Right.
A couple of really good matches, nothing terrible, but just middle of the road to even better. So, good show for Ring of Honor with not a lot of hype behind it, to be honest with you. Missing a lot of the top guys, they were able to put together a really good show. A lot of surprising matches too. So
yeah, and I think as you say that, so like now we're going to kind of review very quickly and give some predictions for Impact Wrestling Slammiversary this Sunday. And the one thing that I will say about Impact is, while if you look at the card on paper, and if you compare it to, just say, Ring of Honor show from last weekend, the Best in the World show, that on paper and the in-ring matches will probably not deliver as much up and down the card as Ring of Honor would, right? And there will be some good matches, as we'll go through and talk about them here in a minute. But the one thing I will say for Impact is that with the exception of
D'Angelo Williams,
one match on the card, with the exception of one match, there's 8 matches currently listed. With the exception of one, every single match has had a long-term story that has built to it, whether it be for as little as 2 months to as much as 6 months or longer.
Yeah.
So all of these matches have a lot of backstory and history to them, and I think that is something that right now Impact is doing better than Ring of Honor, because a lot of those Ring of Honor matches, like you said, there wasn't a lot of hype to it. There wasn't a lot of build to a lot of those matches, and while the in-ring matches were all mostly good to very good, they didn't have a lot of backstory to it, so there wasn't a lot of meaning behind the end results of it. This card has a lot of that backstory and history to it, so that there's a lot more juice and build up to it. Now the in-ring stuff will probably not be as good. But we'll have to see which ones deliver and which ones don't. But in my opinion, the way that Impact has built their storylines has been way better than what Ring of Honor has been doing for a while now.
Yeah, I think it's a really good observation. I would even say longer than some WWE, storylines with some of this stuff on here. So let's quickly get to. You want to start from the top or the bottom? How do you?
Let's go bottom up.
Bottoms up, just like the Sunny text. The first match is the Fatal 4-Way for the Impact World and GFW Tag Team Championships. I knew some of the participants in this match. I did not know all of them, so I'm very surprised as I'm reading this right now. LAX, a.k.a. EYFBO, versus Drago and El Fantasma versus Naomichi Marufuji and Taiji Ishiman versus Laredo Kid and Garza Jr. You're welcome. That was not easy. I pronounced every syllable. Marufuji was in the G1 last year, and I had no idea he was in Impact.
Those are Pro Wrestling Noah guys, I believe.
I know he's a Noah guy. I had no idea he was going to be in this match. I'm a big mark for the Marufuji.
They just announced it today, so if that makes you feel any better.
Good. I feel like less of a dick because I've been watching Impact pretty consistently for the last couple of months or so. This match is... So this is the one you're talking about that doesn't have too much backstory.
This is the only one. I think they just kind of... LAX did not have a set feud for this, and I think what they've been doing is bringing in wrestlers from other promotions to tag in. So I think Drago and El Hijo de Fantasma are probably from AAA, and then Marufuji and Ishimori are from Noah. Laredo Kid and Garza Jr. are in Impact. So they've got a mix of teams from different promotions in a Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah, and Drago's in... Isn't he in Lucha?
He might be. I think there are wrestlers. I don't know if it's him and El Hijo de Fantasma, but one of them or both of them is from Lucha Underground. So that's another interesting thing that's happening here.
That's pretty interesting.
Jeff Jarrett just bringing the whole world together, man.
Listen, global. GFW, Global Fighting Wrestling
Force. Global Force.
Damn it!
Impact now owns GFW, by the way.
So GFW is swallowed up by Impact.
Yes.
Another Sunny reference. Okay, so this match, I think they're gonna. I'm a big fan of the LAX, and I don't think any other team has the chutzpah they have right now, and the crowd's behind them, and they're over. So I say LAX keeps them.
I agree. I think LAX should keep it here. No reason to switch it to one of the other teams, I don't think, right now.
Yeah. Laredo Kid and Garza Jr., like you said, are the only team that's full-time in Impact, and
yes.
I don't think that's the right move yet. Next, we have Sanjay Dutt versus Low Ki in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the Impact Wrestling X Division title. Love these two guys. Been a fan of them for quite some time. These guys are definitely a little bit older than the rest of the X Division, but man, can they still go, and Low Ki is just the man. Sanjay Dutt just beat Low Ki in India probably about 2 weeks ago. I don't know if they would... I'm going to say it goes back to Low Ki. I think they got their, Sanjay, the hometown win over in India for the crowd, and I think Low Ki wins the 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I agree. I would do the same thing. I think I like Sanjay. I think it was nice that he was able to get the title because he never got it when he was in Impact in the early days. But I think that Low Ki should probably take it back. And I don't know what the next guy up to get it, probably like a younger guy. I'd like to see Matt Sydal get thrown into the mix in the X Division title picture after this. So hopefully they can do that. But I will also say Low Ki.
I would assume there's going to be another X Division match added to this card. Just looking at it right now, there's a lot of guys that from the X Division they could throw in here. Whether it be Caleb Conley, Trevor Lee, Andrew Everett, like you said, Matt Sydal, maybe like a scramble or something like that to determine a new number one contender. But I think that's a really good point about Sydal. Next match, speaking of in-ring work, Eddie Edwards and his wife, Alicia Edwards, versus Davey Richards and his wife. Yes. They're married, right? And his wife, Angelina Love, in a Full Metal Mayhem match. I have no idea what to expect in this match. Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards could put on a 6.25 star match any day of the week. But with both of their wives in the match, and as Alicia, I've never actually seen her wrestle. Have you?
I have seen her wrestle once or twice at most on Impact. So,
would you put her above or below Lana?
She's probably above Lana. I think she does have some experience, I think, wrestling. So, all
right. So then this match has some potential. Plus the Full Metal Mayhem. You know what? I don't know what kind of match it's going to be, but I'm excited to see it.
I think it's going to be really good. I mean, this is one of those feuds I was referencing earlier that's been built up for such a long time. There's been a lot of heat behind it. You know, Edwards was the champion earlier in the year. He had won it at the end of last year. He kept it for maybe 2 months or so, and Lashley defeated him for the championship. Richards turned on him, right, as Richards was returning from an injury where they were going to reform the Wolves. Richards turned on him and set off this feud that's been going on for 6 months.
Man, it has been that long, you're right.
Yeah, and they had Richards' real-life wife, Angelina Love, had returned, and she's part of the angle, and they brought Edwards' real-life wife into it as well, and it kind of added some juice to it. I think that, at the most part, Richards and Angelina Love have gotten the upper hand, I think, in a lot of the feud. I see, Eddie and Alicia have gotten it very, very few times. So I think that if it was me, I would think that the way this will get booked is that this is the blow-off to the long simmering feud for 6 months, and that Eddie Edwards and his wife would get the win.
I think that's a smart idea, too. Plus, I hope Davey Richards does not retire this year. He said at the beginning of this year this is going to be his last year. I hope not. I love that guy in the ring. I think he's adapted his style, and he's gotten even better, and I don't care how old he is. I still want to see Davey Richards work. Yeah,
I did see something recently where he said it might be a few years, so I'm hoping that's actually...
That would be awesome.
That would be better.
Love me some Davey Richards. What's next?
We got Moose and former NFL running back D'Angelo Williams against Eli Drake and Chris Adonis in a tag team match.
He's not signed anywhere, huh?
Who's that? D'Angelo?
Yeah.
No, he was a beast on my fantasy team filling in for Le'Veon Bell the last 2 years. So I really wish he would catch on somewhere, but... Instead, he's going to wrestle at Slammiversary. And again, this match, I would say maybe 2-3 months or so of build-up. Eli Drake has been going after Moose's Grand Championship. He took on Chris Adonis as an ally after losing Tyrus. I think he had Tyrus for a little while, and then now Adonis is his partner. They kept kind of attacking Moose, and then Moose needed to find a partner for Slammiversary, and it was announced that D'Angelo Williams was training to be his partner. So...
Are we going to get a Pac-Man run-in?
No, I hope not. Can he run in from jail? Is he not in jail? So I'm going to say that D'Angelo Williams and Moose will win this. I don't think they would bring in D'Angelo for a one-match shot and have him lose, unless they do something silly and have him turn on Moose. But I don't see that happening. So I'm going to say that Moose and D'Angelo Williams will win.
I hope not. So I'm going to go with Eli Drake getting the pin on D'Angelo Williams.
I would listen. I'm as big an Eli Drake mark as there is out there.
You love me.
I'm a huge fan, but I just think it's just in the spot that it is. I think Moose and